Ace Podcast.
You are listening to the Crazy Town Podcast, Season 1, Episode 12, with special guest host TNT Dynamite. Today on the show we'll be discussing suspect product brand names, a glorious idea I had called T-Rex Island, and why no one ever watches YouTube links anyone sends them. All that and more today on the Crazy Town Podcast.
Bunyan, take 3!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Crazy Town Podcast. I am your host, Jonas, and here with me is TNT Dynamite. Why don't you go ahead and say hello to everybody?
TNT Dynamite here, the explosive one. Thanks for having me on the show again, Jonas.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're becoming a regular old staple of the Crazy Town, my friend. Why don't you
happy to be here.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your stuff? I know you got some things going on.
Yeah, sure. I'm TNT Dynamite. I'm on YouTube at TNT Dynamite and at Twitter, TNT DINOMIGHT, all one word.
Jesus.
I'm getting better at it, though.
You are getting better at that. You're practicing. So, well, we want to thank everybody for listening again. We have a great show planned for you today. Before I get started, I do want to give a shout out to the Beardy Five. They're a great podcast on the Ace Podcast Network. You can check them out at thebeardy5.com. That's the number 5. The Ace Podcast Network, acepodcastnetwork.com. And we are going to go ahead and take a quick break. But first, if you aren't following us on Twitter, hit us up at the Crazy Town Pod. Our website is thecrazytown.com. And we have actually started a Patreon account for anyone who is interested in donating to the show. There's some cool rewards for you. It's patreon.com, that's patreon.com/The Crazy Town Podcast. Go ahead and check it out. We're very appreciative for anything you want to do. We will be right back, and we'll get started on this episode of the Crazy Town Podcast.
Where am I?
Hey, this is Cade.
And this is Jeff.
From the Super PP Town Podcast, and you're listening to the Crazy Town Podcast.
And if you were listening to a different podcast, how would you even be responding?
All right, we are back on the Crazy Town Podcast with TNT Dynamite. So, Dynamite, I want to talk to you about branding. Not
right,
like not like branding like, you know, like fraternities do, where they like brand their arms, or branding a cow to like make sure that you have them in your staple. Not like hot iron branding.
Okay.
Do you have any hot iron branding?
I have a tattoo or two, but no branding, no.
You don't have like an X branded on your arm or anything cool like that?
No. How about you?
No. You take the fork and you get it red hot on the stove and you spell out like mom on your arm. I don't have that.
Is this a thing?
No, haven't you seen those like those fraternities where they have those big burns on their arm with like the shape of like the omega or whatever? Haven't you ever seen that? Like they're like burnt. It's like burnt into their arm. It's fucking dumb, I think, kinda. I mean, anyone who has that, you're not dumb. You're very awesome because you're listening to the Crazy Town Podcast.
Oh yeah. No,
but,
you're an idiot.
But yeah. No, I didn't want to talk about that kind of branding. I want to talk about product branding.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Let me throw out the definition. Entrepreneur.com defines branding as the marketing practice of creating a name, symbol, or design that identifies and differentiates a product from other products. An effective brand strategy gives you a major edge in increasingly competitive markets. So, I mean, branding's pretty important when you say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tap into my inner Mark Cuban. Yeah, I think so. Branding's super important.
Well, right.
Millions of dollars.
I mean, just a couple ones that everybody knows. The Nike swoosh, the golden arches. You know what I mean? Like, those are just, you know what those are. I mean, obviously that's Burger King and Reebok, right? But
obviously, Jonas, obviously.
So, all right, but I'm not here to rag about those kind of companies. They've done what they've done. But some companies have suspect brand names. So what I mean by this is I feel some companies don't properly represent the products that they put out under their name. For example, I recently stayed in a hotel. I had to travel out of town. I stayed in a hotel, and I had to, you have to open up the toilet paper, because it's wrapped up, they have it all special for you. So I noticed that the brand name of this toilet paper was Guest Choice. Sounds elegant, doesn't it? Like, like everyone wants. It's the Guest Choice brand of toilet paper.
Makes you feel special when you're wiping your sensitive areas.
Right. When you get your taint all, you don't want your taint all rubbed raw. But but I don't know what guest they got to do this, to choose this paper, but I want to punch him in the fucking face. Like, I'm thinking they probably gave some homeless guy like 2 half-eaten grilled cheese sandwiches so he picked this paper so they could call it Guest Choice. Because that way they could, as long as one guest says they like it, I mean, I guess it's a guest choice, right?
I guess, man. How was it though? Was it good? Dude, was it a good grade of toilet paper? Oh,
obviously, because I'm talking so highly of it right now. It was like 2 elf pillows rubbing my cheeks together.
Elf pillows.
No, it was the thinnest, roughest, least likely to be chosen by any guest ever paper. So here's what was great about it. So not only was it like sandpaper, but it was so thin that you could poke your finger through and almost like give yourself a little fucking happy ending while you're trying to clean yourself.
I guess that's why most guests choose it then, maybe, huh?
Yes. I wonder what type of guests are staying in the hotel. I would guess that 95% of people would probably rather use a cheese grater to wipe than this toilet paper.
I've never tried that.
I mean, you don't have a grater sitting by your toilet, dude?
No, not in this bathroom. I just moved in recently, so.
My question is, why don't hotels have, like, baby wipes? You can get baby wipes cheap, dude. Like, everybody, like, you don't need them, but, you know what I mean? If you're going to travel, you might as well travel in style.
Yeah, or if they're giving you a guest choice, why don't they give you the sandpaper toilet paper or sandpaper toilet paper and your choice of the baby wipes? Maybe at a premium.
Ooh. You can get a pack of wipes for like an extra like 50 cents a night on your stay.
And that'd be fine. I'd pay an extra 50 cents, $1, $2 if I could use baby wipes. I would pay an extra $1 for Charmin. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why? Yeah. Like, is there any other brand that you can think of off the top of your head that you've encountered like that? I do have another one here I want to talk about. Can you think of anything off the top of your head that maybe you've encountered before that just didn't live up to its name?
Wow, I can't think anything offhand, but
all right. Well, no, that's fine. I mean, they're not so obvious most of the time, but here's another one, and I think everyone's probably encountered this one because it's a brand that Walmart only carries. I don't know if you've noticed this. If you buy groceries at Walmart, they have a brand. It's called Price First.
Yeah, I guess when you think about it, that's kind of fucked up.
Right. Well, right. So
it's not you first.
No, it's price first. Which kind of makes sense because like literally the packaging is very plain. Like the only 2 products I really come off, there's 2 in general. One is like whatever. The second one I want to talk about in a minute. The first one I remember it's like Pop-Tarts. It's like strawberry toaster pastries is what they call them. But it's in a dark blue box with white letters and it just says strawberry toaster pastries and they're like $1. And I get it, price first. So, I mean, it sounds great. You know what I mean? Like, they're really looking out for you. They're really going on price first.
Yeah, we got to make sure that the price is the first thing.
Right. You can get it low for the consumer. You know, the hard-working man can spend less money on his groceries. Here's the one that bothers me. The other place that I've really noticed this is milk. They have price first milk.
You would think that milk is pretty standard, though, right?
Right, but what conditions does this milk come out of?
Yeah, for the price to be first.
Here's what I imagine. The milking room for this company looks like some shady meth lab milkery. There's some fucking guy with an eye patch in a dirty white apron, like sucking the milk out of the cow tit and then spitting it into a gallon jug.
While like his obese wife pets his three-legged dog in the corner.
Right. Yeah, right. And then it's probably not even normal cows. They get like the sick and dying cows, so they get them at a discount.
They have bootleg cows.
And then, so then you get the AIDS cows, and then you get Uncle Timmy Titsucker transferring the milk into the gallons.
Oh wow!
But hey, the price is like 48 cents less a gallon, dude. Price first, bitch.
Okay, maybe that's the price. Okay, the lower prices. I'm still confused on how they can give you milk at a premium. You would think that it all comes from the same places.
I don't know, man, but the more I thought about it, the more it freaked me out, especially on milk. Like I guess toaster pastries, I can see that. Like you have less quality flour, less quality, like you just use like fake strawberries instead of real strawberries. I don't know. But milk, dude, I'm telling you, it's shady. I want to go to their factory. It would make Louis Pasteur turn over in his grave.
Right? I'm wondering. Man, you got me questioning everything I ever bought that was generic now.
Well, it's okay if it's generic. Just price first. That just rubs me the wrong way. Like Food Club or whatever the fuck they call it now, Great Value. That's great. But something about it being called price first just hurts my heart a little bit.
I don't know. Food Club kind of sounds like an extremist group.
Yeah, well, that great. I think that what used to be. That's either like the Giant Eagle brand for all you Ohio people, or it's like what Great Value used to be before it was Great Value at Walmart. I don't remember.
Yeah. But, I think that is Giant Eagle, though.
Yeah. For anyone who lives in the Midwest, you may know what Giant Eagle is. It's an expensive ass grocery store that's not for the high class. So it's it's pretty fucked up. But that was hurting my heart, man. I had to get it out here on the podcast and talk about it with you. So I wanted to see what your thoughts were. So, that's it. I mean, guest choice and price first, those are
I wish I had more to offer you.
Those are pretty in your face statements to make about a product.
Yeah, if it's going to be the guest choice, you would think that it would be better. That it would be one of the best.
Would be the word?
Yeah. This is the thing that guests choose over anything else.
Yeah.
But instead you're giving yourself anal with your shitty finger.
Right. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, Jesus. All right. If any of you guys out there have any other brand names that you think are suspect, shoot on over to Crazy Town. Maybe we'll keep it a running segment of suspect brand names. So that's all for right now. We will be right back on the Crazy Town podcast.
Hi, this is Jeremy from the Podcast We Listen To podcast. I wanted to take a second to talk to you about a thing that we're putting together called PodCon 2018. This is a convention of podcast listeners, for podcast listeners, and by podcast listeners. And yeah, hosts are listeners too. I listen all day long. This is going to be the fall of 2018 in New Orleans, and it's going to be a blast. It's being put together by myself, members of the Podcast We Listen To Facebook group, and hosts of several of your favorite shows, including Dina from Twisted Philly and Allie from Insight. Fall of 2018 gives us time to put it together right. We're really looking forward to it. There is so much excitement. The Podcast We Listen To Facebook group is blowing up over it. For more information, you can join the Podcast We Listen To Facebook group, or you can follow at PodCon 2018 on Twitter. And as soon as we finalize more details, we will put those out there for you. you. In the meantime, just keep listening to your favorite shows, and you'll probably hear something about it.
All right, Dynamite. I had a sweet idea for you. I want to run this by you.
Okay.
Now, this is an imaginatory idea. It can't happen right now, but maybe down the road, it could happen.
Yeah,
So-
I'm a dreamer.
So you get some T-Rexes, like the fucking dinosaur, like the big little armed people running around.
Okay,
And
yeah.
you put all of them on an island. And you
And Steven Spielberg directs it. I like it.
And you call it T-Rex Island. And I know what you're saying. You've already cracked a joke. It sounds a lot like Jurassic Park.
It does.
Jurassic Park had issues. So the first issue,
To say the least.
the first issue that Jurassic Park had, this is the biggest issue out of all of them. They cloned pterodactyls.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
That is, see, if you surround the island with water, the land-stricken dinosaurs, they couldn't get off. So as long as it's surrounded by water, you're good. Because T-Rexes aren't going to wander through the Pacific Ocean to the U.S. There's no way they'll ever get there. Right?
Yeah, that seems legit.
Right. So, okay. So I know you're thinking Jurassic Park. So first I want to talk about pterodactyls.
Okay.
So, as we
What
know,
do we know about pterodactyls so far?
well, they can fly.
Yes, one.
So they can get off the island really easy. That's why you don't have them.
It's a problem. So yes.
Could you imagine a world with random pterodactyls flying around?
No. I'd imagine it'd be something like the Flintstones, maybe.
No. Here's what I imagine. New York
Okay.
City. People hustle bustle. All of a sudden, here swoops down a fucking pterodactyl like an owl on a field mouse. Caw-caw! Fucking grabs it. Takes him away. Fucking... They'd be like, what happened to your dad, Jimmy? Oh, a pterodactyl got him.
I'm thinking we could train the pterodactyls to be like the new Uber. I could imagine a pterodactyl with like a turban. He drops you off at work. It's a living.
It's like on the Flintstones when they drive.
You toss them some bird seed and you go on about your day.
Well, they can probably hold a lot of people. I mean, imagine they're pretty... what is the size of a pterodactyl?
I don't know. I'd imagine that they're pretty big, though, but... I'll look it up real quick. Go ahead.
All right. So, what I imagine is that there'd be a bunch of dadless kids running around because of pterodactyl attacks.
Yeah, probably.
So that's why you couldn't use pterodactyls. You could only use T-Rexes. And why do you use T-Rexes? Because they're big. But... anyways, we've been off track on pterodactyls a little too much. So we're gonna get back to T-Rex Island.
Okay.
So you want to know how else it's gonna be different than Jurassic Park?
No Chris Pratt.
No, he'll be riding the dinosaurs around like fucking doing. Yes, he'll be training T-Rexes. There's gonna be no buildings and no people on the island. Just T-Rexes.
Okay, so now what's the point?
Right, I figured you would ask me this.
Yeah.
So you let these T-Rex roam around the island, and they live and breed and shit, and you can drop goats and hippos and shit on the island so they can chase things for exercise.
Okay.
Wait, but I know what your main question is.
Yeah, what's the point?
Dick. It is not what's the point.
Okay,
It's
what's my question?
how do you monetize T-Rex Island without people on it?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm glad that you asked that question and not what's the point. So here's what we do. We set up webcams all over T-Rex Island.
All right.
When they're all babies.
Yeah.
And then you pay, you can get people to pay to watch them. So it's either hourly or monthly or whatever. You get a subscription service.
Yeah.
Then you start having T-Rex fights.
What? Isn't that animal abuse or something?
I have this covered.
Okay.
So it's like dog fights, but dog fights are awful. You don't want to do dog fights.
Yeah.
But everyone knows that T-Rexes are soulless.
Like redheads?
Wow, redheads are soulless. Sorry, any redheads listening to the show.
I didn't mean that. It's just it's a meme. But yeah, okay, T-Rex are soulless.
Right.
I'll go along with you.
And they don't have any feelings.
Oh my god.
People hate dog fights because they're wrong and dogs have feelings, which I get. Dogs are awesome. You don't want to hurt dogs, right?
But
T-Rexes have no pain receptors. They just run and kill and eat.
And you've done the science on this, huh?
Well, I don't know this for a fact. But who does?
Okay, I guess you're right. You're right.
This is all hypothetical, man. It sounds right.
Okay. All right.
Don't rain
okay,
on my
so we have the
T-Rex.
we have the T-Rex fighting. What's next?
Well, right. This is all hypothetical.
Uh-huh.
So, like, we just gotta find one guy that the T-Rex trust. We can call him the T-Rex King.
I really thought you were going to go the T-Rex Whisperer.
or the T-Rex Whisperer, or maybe even James.
Yeah, right.
And he would set up all the T-Rex fights. So, like, he would manage all the T-Rex's beef with each other. So, like...
T-Rex beef.
Well, if, say T-Rex named Sloppy Joe ate Johnny Rex's sheep, right? Like,
yeah.
Now they got a battle to the death. I mean, it's the only logical way for them to settle their beef.
Real Housewives of T-Rex Island.
Right. It's all coming together.
I get it. I'm invested now. I'm on board.
Your next 3 tax returns going straight to T-Rex Island.
Yeah. I would pay to watch this, honestly.
Right. Who wouldn't pay to watch T-Rexes fight each other?
Yeah.
And if it's an island, no, they can't get off. But, you know, here's what would happen. Then it would turn into, like, a made-for-TV movie, because you know that, like, a villain would come around and he'd steal a baby T-Rex and take him to, like, Chicago. And then next thing you know, there's a full-blown T-Rex in Chicago. Like,
yeah.
It's like, it becomes a real-life Godzilla movie. Like, he turns into a Godzilla instead of a T-Rex because he's been eating human food.
Or humans.
Yes,
food.
We all know that T-Rexes absorb human DNA and turn into humans when they eat them. So,
wow, now that's an idea.
Yeah, see, no one knows because they didn't eat humans because they ate cavemen and they weren't real humans.
Yeah. See, they ate dinosaurs and cavemen, so they stayed as dinosaurs.
Right. That's why their arms were short. If they grew real arms, they would be dangerous. That's why they had short arms. I mean, they're like fucking 3 stories tall with like arms the size of like ours.
I'm sorry to any short arm listeners out there.
The guy from Scary Movie 2. I'm sorry, guy from Scary Movie 2. Oh, these mashed potatoes are good.
Grab my strong arm.
Right, exactly. So that's my idea for T-Rex Island. It's very, very different from Jurassic Park. This isn't for fun. There's not going to be little kids running around in SUVs getting knocked around, and there'll be no funny scenes of men being eaten on the toilet.
Okay, so there's no crazy scientist with this idea actually in the works right now,
No,
right?
it's just Crazy Jonas from the Crazy Town podcast.
Oh, okay.
That's
all right. You had me scared, man. You hit me with that dolphin shit. In
a previous episode?
Yeah, man. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
With you.
You know, well, since we talked about that, a month ago or so. I mean,
right. I still feel it to this day.
It's been haunting you ever since we talked about it. It's burned into your soul. You're like waiting to be like, and then King of the T-Rexes is going to manually release the dinosaurs.
So it's only going to be T-Rexes, you think?
Yes.
Oh, okay, no pterodactyls, triceratops, brontosauruses.
We just covered why you can't have pterodactyls.
Well, I know.
What other dinosaur are you going to watch 2 fucking brontosaurus fight each other? They'd be like slapping 2 fucking dicks together for fucking 20 minutes.
Like a sword fight.
Right. I mean, what other vicious... I mean, maybe they could have a velociraptor pit, but here's the thing. Yeah. If the island's covered with T-Rexes, the velociraptors aren't going to live, because the T-Rexes will probably kill them all. So, I mean, we can start out with velociraptors and T-Rexes. It may be interesting to see what happens. But then we can't call it T-Rex Island. And he can't be king of the T-Rexes. That ruins my whole plan.
Yeah, we'd have to call it Jurassic Park then.
Fuck you. It's nothing like Jurassic Park.
Nothing like it at all.
There's no buildings, there's no scientists, there's no theme park. It's just monetization of T-Rex fights. Because they're soulless and they can't feel anything because we know this.
PETA's going to be all over this episode.
No. How can they be all over an animal that's been extinct?
Well, I mean, if you did genetically create a T-Rex for today, PETA would find some way to protect.
Yeah,
the
okay.
fucking...
Even better. Okay, so scratch the whole T-Rex Island idea.
Well, we're scrapping it now?
Not the whole idea. We don't have to clone them. We get mechanical T-Rexes.
Ah.
Then we don't need hippos and goats to feed them.
Yeah.
We just have robotic T-Rexes fight on an island via webcam.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm on board. I'm definitely on board now. That sounds great. It'd be like BattleBots. Do we get like different companies to create their own versions of these T-Rexes?
Yeah, so let's put this in an arena. Yeah. Let's get the island out of it. Because they're not dangerous at that point. The island aspect only was because of how dangerous these T-Rexes are.
Yeah, I like this idea.
Anyone out there who can build a mechanical T-Rex, hit up the Crazy Town podcast. We aren't going to hurt animals. That was just a joke about the T-Rexes because mechanical would work way better and it actually can happen. And we'll get you together. We'll give you a shout out. We'll build some dinosaurs. We'll monetize it. It'll be like BattleBot T-Rex edition and
lasers and missiles.
Right. And we'll even let you ride on the back of one of the T-Rexes.
What the fuck?
Yes.
This
Indeed.
Is great.
Yeah, I know, right? Best idea ever. Anyways, that's all the time we have for this segment. We'll be back in just a minute on the Crazy Town Podcast. I have time here for just one other quick little topic. I know you have a channel on YouTube. You're familiar. You watch YouTube all the time, right?
I do.
Right. So, and there's a lot of cool shit on YouTube, correct?
Absolutely, man.
So why is it when someone sends you a YouTube link, you never want to fucking click it? You're laughing because it's very true.
It's so fucking true, man. People send you shit in the text, you never click
right, I
shit.
can't tell you how many things I've just let sit in text history forever and never looked at them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I honestly, I don't know. I think that people just want that organic, that natural,
like self-discovery. Yeah, you don't want someone else to show you it. You want to be able to later send it to someone else and them not look at it.
Yeah.
Because it goes both ways. You send anybody anything, they're like, I'm not looking at that.
And even on that same note, it'll be the fact that you'll find something that you think is absolutely awesome, and then you show it to a person, and then you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever showed this person. You're like, oh, it gets good right after this.
yeah, and by the time 3 minutes in, they're ready to stab you with a fucking pencil because it's so boring. Yeah. But okay, so what do you is there any legitimate reason that you can think of why you don't watch them?
Laziness for the most part. There's other things that I have discovered for myself that I'd rather watch. I don't know. Human nature.
So are you selfish with your time or you're busy? Or both?
I think we all are selfish with our time.
Yeah, well, the other thing is too, a lot of times when I get them sent to me, it's just not a good time to watch a video. And then I forget.
Yeah.
Because they're always so fucking loud. It's never
why is YouTube so loud?
Why is there sound on this? So, and I know we're not the only two people in the world that this happens to. I totally know nobody does that.
Yeah.
Now, there's some people I just don't trust what they're sending me. You know, there's that person, you get a link for anything, like a YouTube link or anything, it could be something really fucked up.
YouTube's pretty good about keeping the really fucked up shit off of the.
Well, but I mean, say it's a random link, there's people, people that you just don't accept anything they send you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like, you're like, oh, okay, nope, sorry, dude. Yeah. You message back, go, that was awesome. And he's like, that was someone killing themselves. And you're like, oh, yeah.
You can read the description, like, I don't necessarily want to see that now or ever.
Then they get smart and put it on Bitly. So, like, it doesn't, so you can't read, like, www.killyourself.com, man kills self with shovel. And you're like, I'm not clicking that link.
Right. What's a Bitly?
It's one of those URL shorteners.
Is it? All right.
It's like bit.ly or some shit. Like, and like you put a link in, and then it gives you like a really short URL. So like you're posting on like Twitter or Facebook or whatever, you don't have to type out the big long like string of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Oh, all right.
So, but basically it hides what you're clicking too. I get a lot of those random text messages. It'll be like from like some random thing I don't know. It'll be like, we're going to give you $1 million. Click on this link. And it's like bit.ly. And I'm like, oh, that seems legit.
Yeah, well, I'm not interested in that. I don't buy into the clickbait, you know? I really don't.
Me neither, dude. Well, but, I mean, like, most people don't. But, like, a lot of people don't know any better.
Yeah.
Dude, I got this voicemail the other day. Like, this is a legit voicemail I got. I checked my voicemail. It's from a number I don't know. It goes... It's an automated voice recording, so it's like, hello. So it goes, hello, this is Officer Mahoney from the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. We are here to review account for fraud. Fraud indicators have da-da-da. Please call us back at da-da. I'm like, first off... Like, a cop is going to call you on an automated message to tell you that your tax return is flagged for fraud. Second, the IRS never calls you. The only way they contact you is by certified mail.
Yeah.
So, like, but I got, like, 2 of them in the same day. I ended up blocking the fucking number. But you know how many, like, old ladies are going to be like, oh, my God, Then the first thing they do when you call, it goes, oh, hi, what's your name? What's your address? What's your social? What's your date of birth? What's your mother's maiden name? And then they fucking steal your identity. And
I'm a Nigerian prince.
Have you seen those shaming websites for Nigerian prince scammers?
No, I haven't, but
Dude, they have... I don't know if it's a full website, but I don't even know how the fuck I stumbled across this. We're so far off of YouTube right now, but I don't give a fuck. It's fine. It's fucking, you know how like if those people message you, you can play with them and like they'll like give them a hard time. Like there's people who literally just give those type of people a really hard time to like so, because if you're giving them a hard time, they can't be scamming someone else. But there's places I'm sure you can find them if you Google it, like fucking with Nigerian scammers, but it's like a bunch of people. They'll be like, I need to know you're legit. You need to write this on a sign and hold it up and take a picture and send it to me or whatever. So it's like all these people holding up like signs that say I'm a fucking douchebag and like, cause they don't understand our language anyway.
It's great.
I thought it was fucking awesome. I need to find it and put a link up for it on the goddamn website so people can check. It's really funny, dude. Like, I was laughing my ass. It's all these, like, really shady looking Nigerian dudes, like, fucking with, like, these weird signs. Fucking, it's pretty sweet. So next time a Nigerian prince emails you, mess with him a little bit so he does not have the chance to fuck with somebody else.
Yeah, fuck those scam artists.
Oh, dude, son of a bitches. So, all right, everybody. I wanted to thank you for listening today. That is all the time that we have. Please send me some feedback, some reviews on iTunes. Follow me on Twitter. All of that. Tell me what you hate about the show. I want to thank TNT Dynamite again for being with us. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about your stuff again?
Yep, TNT Dynamite, the #1 explosive one. I'm on YouTube, TNT Dynamite, on Twitter, TNT TNT Dynamite.
TNT DINOMIGHT on Twitter.
That guy.
As far as our stuff, you can hit us up on thecrazytown.com, Twitter @thecrazytownpod, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, all that shit. Tune in, SoundCloud.com/thecrazytownpodcast. Once again, one last thing. If you do want to donate to us to help us run the show, patreon.com, patreon.com/The Crazy Town Podcast. And for TNT Dynamite and Jonas, we are out.